And we're live again. Sorry, folks. I don't know what happened. Could be the positive energy overcame the Wi-Fi signal. Hi again. This is Jackson and Emily. We live in Vancouver, BC, as I said earlier. And so yeah, Chris and Karen, how are you? You're saying about you're living 25 minutes from Calgary.
Yeah, just south of Calgary, just outside of a little town called Okotoks.
Yeah.
A nice little place, and we're west of that town by, not that far, and we have a nice view of the mountains every morning. Yeah, it's beautiful. Nice, quiet little spot out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. We understand that you moved into your beautiful log home. Is it last year?
No. They got it before the business, I think.
Yeah.
But they renovated.
Renovated.
We actually there's always something going on out here, right? Like there's never any end to it. It's so much fun. It's like a playground. But we moved in May 1st, 2015. That was our first day. We smashed the champagne bottle on one of the logs outside. It was awesome. And then of course had a second one there ready to go, right? And then we were here for up till the spring. We started doing the garage, and so we've got this garage that we're building, and picking away at it every day. I get such a kick out of doing that. And of course, now that we're retired, we got all the time in the world to go out and play around out there. So it's great.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons you started the business, right? Because of the log home.
Yeah, we built Chris and I are a blended family. We've been married close to 20. It's going to be 20 years in July.
20?
Yes, seems like 2.
Wow.
I know.
20, wow.
Time goes by fast when you're in love.
But we always dreamed of building a log home, and I didn't think. I thought that was just such a huge goal to do. Yeah. And finally in 2014, we said, we better do it because we were approaching our 50s. Right. And we said, let's just do it. So we spent everything, every ounce of savings, every piece of equity we had into building this home. We moved in 2015. I was a teacher. Chris was a fireman. We had good jobs, but we were stretched really thin. We were comfortable, but we had no extra for travel or, any of the luxuries in life. Yeah. And our life was half over. And we thought, you know what? We're going to live till we die. So let's do it. Mm-hmm. We did it, but we needed a little extra something. And so we needed to get an extra job. And Chris found this online in 2017. After a year, I retired early from education. After 2 years, Chris took a year's leave of absence. And after 3 years, he completely retired from the fire department. And we're doing this full time now. And we've got our time. And now we've built on to the home that we moved into in 2015.
We wanted to build like a little garage, just to put the vehicle in, right?
Yeah.
And now it's morphed into this massive shop, and it's so awesome.
Aircraft hangar.
It's morphed into a gym and a hunting room, 3-car garage, music room, ensuite.
Man cave,
Yeah.
There's a UFO landing site on the roof. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
but it's a lot of fun.
You built the home. You had the land already, or it was you were living in the land with another house, or you had to rebuild, or what was the?
We actually lived right in Okotoks proper. Right in town. And so we found the land. It was advertised in the paper, and we came out and looked at it. I came out and looked at it by myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could see the house. That sometimes when you see something, it's not there, but you can vision it. You can actually. I could see this, and in my mind's eye, and I brought Karen out that evening. Remember?
I'll never forget. You picked me up. I had church that day. I was at High River at Mass that May, and I remember you picked me up, and we after school that day, and said, "I want to take you for a drive." And we came out here, and there was 2 black horses on the property.
Yeah.
And we walked around. It was just bare land, and the horses followed us around. Wow. And we thought, and then that was the year High River flooded. That June. So we purchased the land in 2013.
Yeah.
and then moved in 2015. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this business,
For 3.5
basically you're the
years.
veteran. And I think we'll ask the question that we thought about just before we came on was many of when we do the coaching interview with people, they always ask, a lot of people ask us, what do you think are, what is it?
How do you see the attributes that make people successful in this business? What kind of people that can succeed in this business? We often ask this question.
Yeah, we get that too. I'll answer first, and then you say your thing.
Go ahead.
I would say that the range of attributes for people that can have success in this is quite wide.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, all kinds of people, introverts, extroverts, the super sharp, the not so sharp, the professionals, not professionals, whatever.
I think we should clarify not so sharp. Because people that are new to aren't tech savvy. That's what we mean by that.
And I was referring to myself.
Was him. He was referring to himself. Yeah.
Because look, I always joke this, and I've said this for years. I could barely spell Wi-Fi, when we first got started in this, right?
And I always say, if a fireman can do this, believe me, anybody. I apologize to all you firemen, but I'm married to one. So
here's the thing. Really, it comes down to drive. It's all inside. Do you have that desire to do something? Because this is a part-time thing initially, right? You got to maintain your livelihood, and then you pick away at a small business until it grows to the point where you can replace your primary income. I mean, that's really basically it. And but you got to want it, and you have, because there's effort. This opportunity isn't willy-nilly. You can't just plug in and off you go. You got to put some effort into it, and like anything worth getting, right? And I always come back to this. I don't even know if I can get this into words right, but I've always dreamed of, first of all, log home. I've always had that on the back of my mind, and it's never going to happen until that first step is taken. And it took a lot of drive to complete this place, right? Just like it's taking a lot of drive to do the garage. But that passion, right? That desire to get up and get at it has to be something that's innate, that is within you. And, once you grab that and you get a hold of it, then, you can pretty much do anything. I'm not putting it into the right words that I want. I have to think about how to answer that. What do you think some of the attributes of people that?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is coachable, because with this business, it's the training is all there. It's all step by step, and it's updated daily. It's all there. 2, you have a mentor. You have a one-on-one mentor plus a coach. So you've got all the tools in your toolbox to succeed. But like Chris said, how bad do you want it? And you have to be coachable. You have to listen to the people that have gone ahead of you, and you have to stay plugged in. You have to stay plugged in. And those are 2 of the big, when we mentor a lot of people, and we coach a lot of people, and we're very honest, and we're very transparent. And sometimes they don't like to hear what we have to say, but it's business. We want them to succeed. Right. And in order for them to succeed, when they succeed, we succeed. So it's a great partnership. But like I said, the training is unbelievable for anybody that is, challenged technical wise. It's very, very like him. It's good. So the first thing that came to my mind was coachable.
Yeah, that's true, because we just briefly shared before we came on with you that we didn't have a very fast start, that it took time, but that we are coachable, we stay plugged in, and then we have a big why for us, is the drive that Chris mentioned. So that's really true.
I love that.
That is so true.
There isn't anybody else that's going to come and show up and do this for you. There isn't anybody else that, and whether it's, starting a workout routine, building a home, or building a small business, or whatever the case may be, it starts within, and it has to. And once it does, then, you just keep feeding that drive, right? And that's why we talk about, whether you're doing this or whatever it is you're doing, if you have a vision board, something visual that can bring that thought process front of center, so critical. It's just so critical.
Yeah, and it's not a job. It's a business. It's your own business. So, and that's the difference. Like, you're not working for anybody else but yourself. You are accountable to one person, and that's within. And that's where it has to start, is within. So, and that's the difference. So, when we talk to people about this, like, how do I get started? Well, the first thing we tell them is, we're not offering you a job at all. We're offering you the training and the system and the mentorship to run your own business. So it has to start with you. And that's the difference between, you're not being employed. You're running your own business. You're owning your own business.
Yeah. You're 100% responsible for it.
Yes. Whether you succeed or fail, right? So, yeah.
So, we often see you guys come on our masterminds and talk and present, and looks like you guys are a lot of times very, you take this thing very lighthearted and a lot of humor. So, but I know that in the end, from the beginning to now, you must put a lot of effort into what you do. So is there time during the beginning, I guess, or even now, that you feel kind of down and that kind of thing? You guys have each other, of course, to kind of prop each other up, but there's some tips you can give us about when, definitely there'll be times that,
like bumps in the road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Can I just run with this for a little bit?
You betcha.
When we first started, our mentors were Mike and Darren, and that was the first thing they told us, that we were taking this too seriously. You have to enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then change it. And so we had to keep it enjoyable. When we share online on our business page, or when we're presenting, we're very open and honest, but we never share our struggles or air our dirty laundry. There are frustrations, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out there with keyboard courage. And when we first started, it broke my heart that people were judging us who didn't even know us. And I can guarantee that if you met Chris or I the first 10 minutes, I know you may not like us, but I know you would respect us. And I know that because we are good people. So that was one of the hardest things for me, was sometimes we would get negative feedback from people who were following us. Secondly, we're coming up 4 years in the business, and there isn't one day we have not been on our business page or interacted online. And that is 24/7. We run our business like a heartbeat. That can be frustrating.
It can be challenging.
There are days we want to throw our phones away because it's we've got lots of people that are wanting our help, and we stretch ourselves thin. So we learned, especially in the last year since we've been doing it full time, that we've set boundaries. So we have dinner, we don't take our phones.
No phones.
No phones at dinner. And, we like tonight, Canada's playing US in hockey. We will not have our phones. We are out of commission during hockey games. But here's the funny part, we don't take our phones when we eat, but here's the funny part about the online space. Before the restrictions came down and we could go out for dinner, we went out for dinner, and Chris said, okay, no phones. We're not taking our phones into the restaurant. Great. We sat down, the waitress comes around and says, your menu is, just scan with your phone the menu. Are you kidding me? Are you
trying
kidding
to have
me?
a romantic supper without phones? Look at the
So we had to go out to the car, get our phones, and But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny how everything is going online now.
Exactly. Even the reading the menu.
I know.
A bit of your question from before was sort of tied into what we define success as. And for us, it's, success isn't just achieving a phase where you can retire. It isn't achieving a milestone. It's the journey. Not unlike, if we were to drive to Vancouver in our vehicle, of course, we wouldn't do that these days, but when we're allowed to, we're making that trip. It's that whole trip. It's driving through Banff, it's going through the mountains, it's stopping for a bite. It's that whole process is how we define success. And so on our journey, we've had some, we've had a couple of flat tires, we've hit the ditch a couple of times, but we've also had some beautiful scenery and some beautiful flat straight highway and some, fun, and so that whole journey is, I think we often miss that, and we used to be like that. Oh, come on, let's get going. We got to get to wherever we're going, and you hammer out and then you finally get there. But no, it's this thing has taught us that, let's just enjoy the trip. Right. And that's sort of how we look at success, and we're loving this. Yeah, we're really loving it.
And, on the days that, and we've hit a lot of roadblocks for sure. And, we get frustrated and we always go back to our why. And we just say, okay, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Let's quit. Why are we doing this? Well, we wanted more time, and it's given us the time. So we have to we always go back to that. Like, if we didn't have this business, we wouldn't be together every day, all day, which is what we love. Chris would still be on the fire hall. I would still be teaching. So we keep going back to our why, and then the frustrations dissipate very, very quickly. So
awesome.
Yeah.
We when we first started this business, we were so darn serious. Like, we were, working up late at night doing ads, and we would have arguments, and then we're so angry at each other. So we're just learning from you. Like, you were always very lighthearted and humorous. But speaking of working this business as a couple, like us and you too, what do you find the challenge, or what do you find is the gain? What's the benefits, or like what did you learn over the almost 4 years? Did it make you guys closer, or how was it for you?
Was it expected when you came into the business, working together?
We didn't initially. We didn't. I mean, who would have known? We're trying something we've never tried before. We had no idea.
Well, you kind of started alone, because I didn't want to do this.
Right. Oh, right.
I was the skeptical one.
Right.
I said, I don't have time to do this.
But you were working, and you were busy. Like,
well, so were you. But
I mean, I had as a fireman. We worked a couple of day shifts, a couple of night shifts, and then 4 days off. So I had some time.
Right.
But you believed in it right from day one.
Oh. Yeah.
You knew this was going to work, and I would question everything.
Yeah.
And it started out a little.
We were on opposite sides of the fence there early on.
until we got the check.
We started making some money, and then she's like,
then I was a little more interested.
Go shopping.
Wait a minute.
Next thing you know, she's
go shopping. Boots, yes.
Yes. Yes, I did.
How many pairs of boots does a person need?
I know. But we'd hit different milestones, and I'd say, when we hit this milestone, I'm getting the boots.
Yeah.
And I did.
And she did, yeah. But you know what? One thing I would say is that it has brought us together, because, we're working together. So we have to, and we got married for a reason. We want to hang out. And she's a lot of fun, and so, we get to hang out all the time, and, sure, we'll not scrap, but we'll argue about different things. No, I think we should do it this way. And you're like, no, we'll do it this way. And so we kind of find a medium, or one of us will.
And we've kind of divided up our duties. Chris does, we both are coaches now.
Right.
But I take care of our business page mainly, and deal with the people that are new coming in. Chris deals with the
admin side of
it, like the paperwork, the back end.
Right.
He does a lot for the for the whole community. So we divided up our duties that way, and it works well.
It's lots of fun. Like,
we've figured it out now. Yeah.
Here's the thing. What I can't understand is why, and maybe you guys are at this too, but there's so many people that are looking for this.
Right.
If they had only. I'm sure you guys will post your link here somewhere on the page, so that people that are watching this live or down the road will see it. Really, it is absolutely worth looking at. Is it for everybody? I would say no, it's not. Can anybody do it? 100%. And you know, one of the things that allows us to walk proudly and look at ourselves in the mirror is that we know that this is a real opportunity. We know that it's run with integrity, it's morally correct, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. Oh, and also it works very well. And you know, it's allowed us to hang out. We're, you know, we wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to work on a garage every single day. I mean, I don't work.
We would have never had a garage.
No, and so I put in 2 to 3 hours a day. You know, I'm working on insulating the garage now.
With the garage, you are, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, and then we do this business maybe 3 hours a day. You know,
sometimes more.
Sometimes more. Sometimes
some
a lot
days
less.
are longer than others, but
some days a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome. You know, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I see the 2 black horses in the back. Is that the horses that you saw when you first see the property?
No, that's funny. You should ask that.
Oh.
See the 2 black horses?
Yeah.
That I'll tell you the story of those horses. I grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan. We didn't have clean water. We had 6 kids. There were 6 of us siblings, and we had 12 cows. We had pigs, chickens. It was just like the story Charlotte's Web. And that red barn in the picture was our playground. You know, with baby kittens. We always had baby animals, but we had 2 horses, Belle and Dolly. And my dad would clean the barn, and we would, my brother and I would ride on the backs of their on them as he cleaned the barn, and we rode on the backs as he drove them outside. And so, Chris, for our anniversary, I had a photograph of Belle and Dolly, and Chris had a local artist, Michelle Vishaw, out of Okotoks, paint it for me. And so this was an anniversary gift.
Oh, it's a painting. It's not a photograph.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that one. Okay.
I'll bring it over for you.
Wow. Yeah, closer. Is that oil painting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay.
Didn't she do a great job of that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's good. Good gift. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's one of my
Won
favorites.
me a lot of brownie points.
It did when you all kinds of brownie points.
Yeah, we will learn from you. Jackson, Jackson will learn from you. So maybe next time I will get a pen painting.
Yeah. Jackson, are you coachable, Jackson?
Take notes, Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
There's your first coaching moment.
Yeah. And I think we won't keep you for long now. It's just one last question is, I guess this is something we always ask our guests is, you've been doing this business for a while, and obviously we can see your passion for it. And what would you say is your single biggest secret to your success so far?
Laughter.
And beard. No.
Red
Very
wine.
close.
Red
Second.
wine work.
There. Yeah.
You know what? It's the
Beers.
epitome of attraction marketing. We just share who we are. And on our business page, you're going to see some crazy things. But that's exactly who we are. Some people love us, some people don't.
Yeah.
And we attract people just like us. In fact, some people even look like us. It's quite funny, actually. Yeah. You attract what you give out.
Right.
And so we love to laugh. We work really hard. We're a blended family. We're in our mid-50s. And you know what you see on our business page, and people are curious. Like, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. And we do.
Yeah.
But not without our frustrations, for sure. And our motto is, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So anytime we get frustrated, we always look at it, this is an opportunity to learn. And we learn from it and move on. And so I think it's the whole thing about attraction marketing. And people reach out and say, what are you doing? Check it out.
I think when you you often said, when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
But when we kind of share that we're loving what we're doing. And when people see that, they'll either, be curious, and or they'll be turned off. And if they're turned off, that's fine. We're just going to continue being ourselves, right? And sharing our love for what we do. And if that attracts people, great. And if it doesn't attract certain people, great. We're not going to change our drive, our inner love for what we do and for other people, right? So I think you just share that over and over and over. That's been one of the key things that, plus we like to laugh, and plus we love beer.
And at the beginning we would apologize to people that didn't like us, or would challenge us on our business page or whatever. And we would, and we don't apologize for who we are. We're goofy and we like red wine, and that's who we are. And when you meet us in person, that's exactly who you're going to get. So I always quote, be who you are and be that well. And, not everybody's going to like you, but I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. And
we've had a riot doing this.
I always see you guys, and you always make this business look so easy. Like if I were the one watching from the sideline, I would just say, "Oh, I'm interested," right? So.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Jackson, because I was an educator for 34 years.
Yeah.
Right. It was a good career. I loved my career. But I get a pension now every month, and I look at my pension for 34 years of service, and I spent 34 years with other people's children.
Right.
Some days I spent more time with other people's children than I did my own. And I don't regret one day. It was the best career I could ever think of. However, I look at this now, and it's not even 4 years yet. And the time I have together with you, and the financial freedom we have, 4 years, like it is easy. When you compare it to your career on the fire department, Chris, risking your life on the front lines, it's all relative. And so when we compare it to the long hours we put in,
exactly,
right?
I think same for us, because Jackson used to work for corporate. Like he works from home. He works from home, but he stayed in the office like 8 hours a day that we don't get to see him. And now we're hanging out every day together. We're hanging out with each other. We just celebrated our 17 years anniversary, and I just love being with him. Taking care of kids, cooking together, doing together. It's just nothing compares to that. Buy that.
Here's an example of attraction marketing. I love red wine and beer. Woohoo! And right?
Shay.
Yeah.
Perfect example of attraction marketing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shay.
It happens to be today's Tuesday, right? So we'll have a live webinar this afternoon at 5 p.m. PST.
Yes.
And you guys
are on it tonight, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, we're on the live panel tonight, so we'll be there.
So people don't miss the opportunity.
You guys want to see them again? You gotta come down this 5 p.m. Sign up.
Wow.
I am going to I'm working on a new cheap shot for Karen tonight.
I know. He always cheap shots me of how I'm older than him, right? He tells people my first book was the Bible. Like, seriously.
That's funny.
We are young at heart, right? No matter how old we are.
on her birth certificate, she's so old that her birth date is listed in Roman numerals.
Right? This is but I love him.
Just
watch your brownie points. They're doing.
Exactly. You just lost a couple.
I gotta go work on that right now.
Thank you, Jackson.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you,
guys.
Karen. And you have a great new year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you so much. Bye.
Bye.